Let's move on to our next question. And I'm going to ask Sam and Bobo to kind of answer for their perspectives on these two. How and why do I stay focused on progress when I feel sad or worried? And there's certainly a lot to be sad and worried for these days, depending on where you live, what families or friend situations you have. There's a lot going through kids and their parents' heads. So Sam, love to hear your perspectives.
Sure. Thanks for the question. Yeah, obviously, or maybe not obviously, we are seeing an increase in anxiety. I'm certainly seeing that in my clients. And I think first and foremost is to address the sadness or anxiety rather than just ignoring it. I think the tendency sometimes is to shove it deep inside, and it's not going to go anywhere. That's for sure. So it will rear its ugly head in another way. I think what many people are going through is probably some guilt right now. There's this vicious cycle of feeling not feeling unmotivated or not motivated right now. I can attest to that personally. And so then you feel guilty for maybe not feeling motivated. And then that leads to maybe skipping a training session. And that leads to more guilt. Now I skipped a training session, and then maybe that leads to a week. And before you know it, you've dug yourself in this hole. And that guilt is certainly only going to exacerbate any anxiety or sadness that you might be experiencing. So, I'd encourage people to journal. If you're an Athlete Foundry member, you can certainly use the journal on the platform. And if not, good old notebook, certainly works as well. But I think it's important to get your feelings out. I think it's a great opportunity to reassess goals. And here I'm talking more on process-oriented goals as opposed to outcome. For one, we don't know what the upcoming season even will look like, but it's a good opportunity to reassess why you participate in your sport. What are some ways you are trying to improve? Something I ask my clients a lot is, what's the scouting report on you? What's the other team say about how to beat you? Let's use this time now to improve on some of those things. I have a client who the way to beat them is to play physical against them and knock them down and get in their head, right? So why not take this opportunity to get stronger? Work on some of those things. The last thing I'll say is it's a great opportunity to, if you're struggling with your motivation, to maybe have some friendly competition with your teammates, friends, and challenges, that you can, it's always easier to do when you're not in it alone. And so when even you may not be able to do it physically with one another, but if you know that your teammate is going through some of the same pain and going through the same training session, I think that helps. Or if you need to, motivate yourself, maybe it's, little rewards. This is something that I use. I've got a little mini Gatorade bottle here that, every day I set a goal and I drop a penny in there, and I've got these little lines around here. When I get to a certain line, I reward myself with something, maybe it's an ice cream or some sort of treat, So if you need that carrot, so to speak, certainly go with it. I'm never an advocate for lots of extrinsic rewards, but a little bit here and there can certainly help jumpstart you.
Thank you, Sam. There seems to be an ice cream theme here somewhere. So,
I don't know. Ice cream is being consumed at much higher rates during the quarantine. So maybe that's what it is.
I attest to that. So, you're absolutely right. The two things I certainly love what you said. Everything you said was powerful. Journaling, and whatever term you want to call it. Maybe it's not a powerful term by itself. There's other words to use for journaling, but writing down your notes and your thoughts are absolutely powerful. And you've shown that to us in the past, Sam, without a doubt, whether it's just a young child, even in elementary school, quite frankly, just writing down your thoughts is very therapeutic in a sense. And so call it whatever you want to make you feel great that it's okay. I'm writing some notes down. Without a doubt. And I love the idea of challenging friends. It's so powerful. Even in a virtual world, there's absolutely ways to do that. whether it's a physical challenge, a reading challenge, or a combination of a challenge that kind of spans all of them. I think that is a very powerful thing. I'll tell you that you hit an interesting point, Sam, that personally hit us at home last night. In fact, I think we had bubbled up a lot of feelings for a while with kids not having access to their friends for a while, and just had a very deep conversation or emotional release with one of my daughters yesterday, and just this bent up feeling for a while. We had no idea it was bottled up for a while, and we just had to have that raw conversation, and we need to still have that raw conversation. So we're going through that as well, but we will absolutely get through this 100% undoubtedly, and its ability for us to just listen a little bit more to our kids. But we have definitely set some great goals for them, and we're executing those to the best of our ability. So thank you, Sam.
Sure. Yeah, Casey, it's a balance between processing and coping, or processing and distraction. Too much processing and we're emotionally a wreck. Too much distraction or coping, and then we're not really dealing with the issue. So you really got to find that balance.
Yeah, and the balance is the fulcrum is never in the middle; it's always adjusting. So I think the infamous the balance. There's no such thing as it's in the center. It has to adjust. So thank you, Sam.